السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. يسعدني في هذا اللقاء الجميل أن أستضيف ضيفة مميزة، حقيقة هي متميزة لإنجاز العديد والكثير من الأعمال في وقت واحد. إنها أستاذتي إيفيميا شيلا، وأستاذتي لهذا اليوم هي كاتبة وناقدة أدبية، وهي من دولة زامبيا وغانا. هي تتحدث إنجليزية بطلاقة وأيضا بالفرنسية. حصل على العديد من الجوائز والتكريمات، من بينها كونها من أوائل المرشحين النهائيين لجائزة كين للأدب، وحصل على جائزة ورشة الخريجين الكتاب في أيسلندا في عام 2017. كما تم اختيارها لبرامج إقامة وإرشاد مرموقة، ولعب أدوار تحكيمية كثيرة في المجتمع الأدبي، ونشر أعمال عديدة لها في مجلات كثيرة ومرموقة أدبيا كمجلة وزفير وتوكن ومجلة جالادة، وأيضا مجلة بريتل بيبرز. بالإضافة إلى كتاباتها الإبداعية، فإنها أيضا ساهمت شيلا بشكل كبير في النقد الأدبي، وكتبت على نطاق واسع، كما في مجلة The Johannesburg Review of Books. كما تعمل أيضا ككاتبة وتشغل منصب محررة ويب وصناعة محتوى في موقع Short Story Day Africa. كما تمتلك العديد من خبرة في تسهيل ورشات العمل الكتابية هنا في أفريقيا. يسعدنا نلتقيها هذا اليوم في برنامج مع بنت النور الأستاذة شيلا. Welcome. I want to welcome you in my program. I'm really honored to be with you here in Ghana and this workshop. That's given me like a good chance to meet some people great like you. You are doing a lot of stuff. You're still young. So let's start to background of you. We are childhood. How you start this one? How you choose to be a writer? How you take this field? It's not easy.
Yeah. So I had always wanted to be a writer. It was a childhood dream, but I had never really written anything while I was in university. And then once I left university in about 2013, I decided to write my first short story. And I was very fortunate. That short story got nominated for a local prize, and then it got submitted to the Kane Prize, which obviously was very prestigious. And so my career really started with a bang. And it really opened me up to a lot of opportunities very early. I mean, I think before I started writing, I didn't realize how much interest and how much appetite there was for the kind of fiction I was writing. And I didn't realize how many people outside of Africa were now interested in African fiction. So that was kind of how my career started. I started writing short stories, and now I'm working on my debut novel.
Wow! You're very talented, and even I like your experience and your soul. You're very energetic. And even your writing, and you see the instructor in this workshop,
they've really been enjoying it, so I'm glad.
Please, you can tell me about what you are like to write, what your theme is depend on your writing.
So I tend to write in the genre of literary fiction. But I like to explore aspects of African history, like pre-colonial ancient African history. I'm also very interested in writing about intimacy and relationships, and queer people as well. So I like to write stories that are very emotive, and have a lot of feeling and kind of mimic the texture of everyday life. So those are the kind of things that I like to write. In this workshop, I've kind of been thinking about maybe writing science fiction, which is something I've never done before, but I think it would be a fun genre to explore.
You already published, as I'm saying in the introduction, in Arabic anyway, about you already published in many magazines. Tell me about that.
So when I was early on in my writing career, I got a piece of advice from an older writer, and they suggested that every writer should try and get 100 rejections. So
just 100?
100, because they were saying that you're young and you're writing a lot, but you should apply for everything that you can. You should try and get experience, and you should every time you see a call for stories and stuff like that, don't think that you're not good enough, or don't think that you can't do it. Just enter what you have, the best of what you have, and see what they make of it. So I've been published in a few places online, and I was lucky in that the time that I started writing in the 2010s, in Africa, there were a lot of online journals which were popping up. And so there were more spaces for African writers to be published. And so I had a bit of poetry published in Brittle Paper, which still exists today, and Jalada, which was based out of Kenya. One of my short stories was featured in New Internationalist, which is a kind of international paper. And also some other story collections and anthologies here and there. So that was kind of how I got my start, and now I want to do a longer piece, and so hopefully I can get my book published.
Yeah, of course, I think so. You you engage yourself in many different type of literatures. What you prefer? Now you have short stories, you are articles, and now start novels.
Yeah.
If you choose something, what do you choose?
I mean, it's kind of hard to choose. I feel like I'm on a creative journey, and I think in different parts of my life, I try and write different things. I mean, I would love to do this novel. I would also really love to do a graphic novel. So comics, I think that would be really fun to do, like comics for adults in like a book. For the Johannesburg Review of Books, I sometimes do cultural criticism. So sometimes I review books or review films and stuff like that. And I think I'd like to do more of that, reviewing other people's kind of artwork, other people's creative production. Yeah, I mean, I hope that I have a long and fruitful career and I get to experiment with lots of different types of writing.
Yeah, of course. And I was ask you about your prizes. You got out of prizes, yeah.
So I've been nominated for a lot of prizes. I haven't won a big one yet, but I've been nominated for the Kane Prize for African Writing. I was also nominated for the Short Story Day Africa Prize. I've been selected to go on residency. So a couple of years ago at my old university, I was invited to be the writer in residence, which was really nice because you get to work with writers who are studying. You get a long period of time to write and work on your projects. I also just came back this year from a residency in Cape Town.
Wow.
Which was really nice. Yeah, we kind of were selected and we got some time to write. And so those things are really valuable. And it's always interesting. You know, when you're a writer, it can be very isolating and you write in your room and you write by yourself. But when you go to a residency, you get kind of a breath of fresh air because it's a new place and you can feel inspired and new ideas can come about. So I've been lucky to have a few opportunities.
Are you advise the writers to apply for like this kind of residence?
I think so. I think that one of the most valuable things I've learned, and I think one of the things is that it's not a solo journey. So even though you're creating your work by yourself, you need other people and you need other institutions. So if you're affiliated with a library or with a university, or you get to meet other creative people or meet other writers, it really strengthens your work. And so I would advise people, once they've gotten a story or two that they're proud of, to try and submit to things and see if they can just explore what the world of literature looks like, because it's very big.
Okay, let me ask you about exploring about social media. How you see this impact on the writer's field?
So it's interesting. I also work a bit in publishing as well. So I work on the other side of the desk, as it were. And I actually deleted my Twitter account because I was spending too much time on it. And I felt like I was giving away a lot of my thoughts and like my jokes for free online. And I was like, if I actually spend less time on my computer, I can sit down and focus and write. So that has been really helpful for me. But at the same time, the reason I was on Twitter for so long is I was meeting writers from around the world. And you see all these kind of opportunities. And so I do think that if you're a writer nowadays, you have to have at least one social media that you're good at, that you're focused on, and where you look for opportunities and where you also tell the world a bit about yourself. Because some of the opportunities that you get, people just see, oh, this person does this, maybe I should contact them. And if you're invisible and if you're not on social media at all, it's hard for people to know you exist. And it's also something that even publishers sometimes look at. They're like, oh, does this person have a social media following? And if they already do, then it might be useful because then there's more, of an audience for their book. So, I mean, social media is here to stay, and it can be useful for you as a writer.
Yes. Let me ask you, are you visiting before the Arab World or like book exhibition in Cairo and Sharjah, something like that?
I have not. I would love to visit the Arab world. I know Sharjah has a massive festival,
Yes. And in Cairo,
and Cairo has a massive festival, but I haven't been able to visit yet. But I would love to, and I also know that Sharjah has an Africa Institute, and they are funding writers to be residents there in Sharjah.
That's good.
So I would love to travel, and I also like meeting people from other developing countries. So I would love to go to Asia more and interact with writers there, and in the Middle East as well. But I haven't had the opportunity just yet.
Yes. And really, yesterday we are recognized, and for a first day, not just yesterday, it's like advanced level for our colleague writers. Something like really, wow, I'm very lucky to be here to listen and see the different opportunity, different ideas, different aspects.
I agree, yeah. And I mean, the Middle East has amazing writers, you know, like Saeed and Ghassan Kanafi, like they're amazing, and Nawal al-Sadawi, they're amazing writers in the Middle East. So.
You read for him, yeah?
Yeah.
Of course, yeah. I want to ask you about in your writing as a creative writing, you choose some kind like specific issues like identity and races. What about that?
I mean, I think that I try to write what I'm most interested in. I kind of write with myself in mind because I am my own ideal reader.
Yes.
And I think that I like to write about the kind of concerns, the challenges, the obstacles that people of my generation face, and how they try and overcome them, and how they deal with issues like identity, like racism, like migration, because there's so many Africans in the diaspora, and there is such a tension between, you know, having a home here and a home there, which I think is very interesting. And I'm particularly interested in the stories of women. Because I think that a lot of times women's stories and literature about women is viewed as frivolous, or it's viewed as something that only women read books about women and men don't. And I think that the experiences that women have are universal, and I think everyone can learn from them, everyone can enjoy them, everyone should be interested in them. And so that's the kind of stuff that I like to write. But it's always, it's always interesting to see what I'll come up with. I mean, I think that, I'm 32 now, and I'm interested in what I'll be writing when I'm 52. It might be something completely different.
Yeah, of course. I would ask you, is interested if you have any other hobbies?
Oh, okay. I am very into wine tasting. There's a big wine industry in South Africa, and so I do a lot of wine tasting. I love to cook. I really love to cook. I love to host my friends and cook. And then I guess I love reading. I love reading. It's my favorite thing to do, and it's probably what put me on the path of becoming a writer.
Music, something like that.
I love to listen to music. I've been thinking about taking DJ lessons. I think it would be fun, but I'm not very good with technology, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. Okay. Finally, I want to ask you about, because of a lot of experience, give us advice for those who want to start writing and take the journey in their life.
Okay. I mean, the first thing I would say is that you should keep a diary. I think that you should keep a diary, and I think you should write in it every day. And I think that even if you think you have a boring life, it's very important for you to be able to describe it interestingly and with a lot of detail.
Yes.
And so before you even start trying to write something creative, it's just good to go around life noticing and being observant, because that is one of the biggest skills as a writer that you can have. The other thing I think is to read quite widely. And I think you should write the book that you wish existed.
Wow.
So if you read and you feel like, well, I don't like this story, or this person should have done that, think about what you would do. And then maybe that's a project that you can start, trying to write something like that. And then I would also say, the writing career isn't easy. I don't think any career is easy, but it is something that you do need to be able to persevere, and you need to have resilience. So if you do get rejected, or if a story you write doesn't turn out the way you wanted, just maybe take some time to gain your confidence back again, but do try again. Because most of the people that we see who are on the bookshelves, or who get their movie turned into a movie, they didn't start as perfect writers. They had a long period of time where they were trying and trying and trying, and they faced rejection. So if you can accept that it's a journey and that it will take time, it will be much easier for you to take pleasure in it.
And sometimes your society, they still ask you, I'm a writer. Yeah, because you have a time. You just become like this because you have imagination, you have time. You do something not important. If you want to do something serious in the world, like maybe doctors, engineers, anything like that.
I mean, not everyone can be a doctor, I always say, and we need people who are writers and artists in society as well. So if you think it's valuable, then it's something that you should definitely pursue.
Yes, of course, It's bring alive and color our life.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Salma.
Shayla, I love your talk to you, and I know you are busy. You are still under pressure here in this workshop. We still have work to do and something like that. So thank you. I appreciate your time, and really I wish best luck for you and complete that novel. I hope I'm waiting for it. And thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Salma. Thanks for having me on your show.
Thank you. إلى هنا ينتهي لقائي مع الأستاذة شيلا، وأتمنى لك كل التوفيق في روايتها القادمة. أما أصدقائي أترككم في رعاية الله. دمتم في أمان الله. إلى اللقاء.